Hey guys, what's going on? Chris Cook in Nashville here. Just gonna do a a quick check-in with you guys today. I'm so sorry. Allergies are terrible in Nashville right now. Everyone I know is really struggling with them, and we really struggle with allergies here anyway. So I'm struggling with those, stuffy nose and cough and all that kind of stuff. It happens this time every year. I will say it's significantly better than it has been in the past because doing Carnivore has taken a lot of inflammation out of my body and it handles that kind of stuff a lot better. But it's still there, as you can tell. I just wanted to double check on everything today. And so I weighed in this morning, and I was kind of not particularly surprised. I actually went up a few pounds, and it's going to happen at some point in time. So I'm sitting around like that 297, 298 range. I was down to like 294, and then popped back up a little bit for my weigh-in today. Now, there's a couple of reasons I think that happened. First of all, I've been testing a lot of recipes for my recipe videos, and that has increased my intake of things like dairy. And, dairy is one of those things I can do a little bit here and there. Liquid dairy, I really, really have to try to limit. I can do some of the cheeses and, the hard dairy, but I still have to really be careful because it will stall weight loss. It's also very, very easy for me to way overeat the dairy, because I can just crank through some dairy, whether it's cream and coffee or cheese or, any of that kind of stuff. I can just eat massive amounts of dairy. It was one of my things before I was, doing the whole low carb thing. I loved my dairy and I drank a lot of milk and I ate a lot of cheese and just all that stuff. So anyway, that's, kind of one of the big factors that has, sort of made me just hold on to some stuff. And now granted, it's not like in 4 or 5 days I gained, 3 pounds of fat. I mean, that's, 3 or 4 pounds of fat. That is not what's going on. What's going on is I can tell there is a little bit of inflammation in my body. My body is holding on to the inflammation, the water, the toxins, or whatever it is that's causing that inflammation. It's holding on to that stuff. And so there's a little bit of swelling and bloating and stuff. And so it's normal. Also, I was really thirsty yesterday, even having my electrolytes and doing all that kind of stuff the way I'm supposed to. I just was really thirsty yesterday. So for some reason my body is just holding on to water and craving more water and electrolytes. So I drank a bunch of water yesterday just because I was thirsty for it. Didn't necessarily feel like I was in the bathroom more than normal for drinking the amount of water. So my body's holding on to a lot of fluid today. That's fine. I'm not too worried about it. But, this kind of brings up an interesting point because, every video I've done checking in so far, I've been losing weight. And that's a really cool thing. I'm really glad. But, this was bound to happen. This was going to be something that was going to happen. And I've told you guys, I'm here to do this and be completely transparent with you and tell you exactly what's happening every week. So this week I gained weight and I was waiting. I knew eventually it was going to happen where the number went the other way, for a week. So it brings up an interesting point. What do you do about that? Because I know there are a lot of people, and I've seen them. I've seen the comments on social media. I see people that make videos talking about it. I see the questions and things like the live streams that, people like Dr. Barry or, other carnivore and keto people are doing where they are taking questions. I see the questions, and I know that people are concerned when they see, the numbers turn around for a few days, and all of a sudden it's like, oh no, I gained 2 pounds, or, maybe it's, I stopped losing weight, or whatever. So there's a couple of things that I have to say about those questions and those sort of perspectives. Number one, This just isn't a quick fix, right? Sometimes things take time. It takes effort. It takes intentionality. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's difficult. There's moments it's difficult because you have to come face to face with the carb addiction and with the psychology of how we have been taught in our society to eat. And what we have been told about food for so long. Like, you have to come face to face with that stuff. And it's not that that's a bad thing or that that's like, super hard or something to be afraid of. In those moments, though, there are challenges that present themselves. Like anything in life that is worth doing, there's going to be points where it's going to take, some pushing through. And that doesn't mean you're going to be perfect at it. I'm certainly not. I've dealt with these things in the past and fallen off the wagon. I've told you guys that. This is not the first time I've done carnivore. This is just the most permanent time I've done carnivore. It's very easy to kind of give up when those difficult things arise because we're just kind of taught to do that. But, coming face to face with those moments where you have to stand up to something that has been causing issues for you, or, whatever the case may be, that's really important. It's a good thing to do. But it can just take a little bit of extra effort in those moments, and that's okay. So, know that, don't be afraid of it, and, believe in yourself enough to stand up against that and say, no, I don't need this stuff. Yeah, it may not be super fun to want things or to go through things or have to, come face to face with that monster, but it's going to be okay. We're going to come out the other side. So that's one element. The next thing, weight fluctuation is normal. 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds in men. Dr. Berry said even more, like 10, maybe even 15 pounds in women. Fluctuation in your weight is normal because you have fluid and, your body's doing different things, the food that you eat, like all these things, it all weighs something. So, weight fluctuation is not necessarily oh no, I'm gaining fat and I'm getting less healthy. That is not the same thing. And I think a lot of times we think of it that way. It's like all of a sudden, the number went up. That means I'm less healthy today than I was yesterday. That's not necessarily how that works. An upward trend where you're gaining weight and it's not muscle, it's like fat. Because of a bad diet or, something like that. Okay, that's a problem. That's an indicator of metabolic issues. Normal weight fluctuation is not something that's bad. So that's something to keep in mind. The next thing about this is, I weigh usually once a week, maybe twice a week if I'm feeling something in my body because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Don't do that. Don't weigh, 2-3 times a week. Definitely don't weigh every day because your body weight is going to go up and down and up and down and up and down day after day as it fluctuates normally. The only reason I weigh even a couple of times a week sometimes is because I'm trying to figure out from a fluid retention standpoint if there's certain things I eat that then over the next day or two is causing me to hold on to fluid or be inflamed, and just how that's affecting me. But I'm also going into that with the perspective knowing that I may get up and I may have 3 extra pounds a certain morning. I always weigh in the morning. I may have a few extra pounds, or if I'm super stressed and I haven't been sleeping as well, which is another thing that's going on right now. That may cause me to hold on to some fluid. That may cause my weight to fluctuate a couple of pounds. So, don't weigh overly frequently. Once a week is plenty. Better off once a month, because that way you're not thinking about it and obsessing over a number, because there's so many more important things than just a number. So just keep that in mind. So, the other thing is, like I said, I haven't been sleeping super well the last few nights, and there's just a lot of stress going on. It's a lot of busyness right now. I work a day job, but then I'm also a musician, and then I also do the Carnivore YouTube channel, and so I'm doing recipes and whatever. Plus I also cook everything from scratch because I'm carnivore and my wife is keto. Not a lot of restaurants we can go to, and it's just so expensive to go out to eat anyway. And you know, it's just, there's a lot of things that I try to keep going and keep a lot of balls being juggled in the air all at the same time. And it's just been stressful lately, and I'm tired. And so my body's going to hold on to some fluid, and that's, you know, that's okay. Another thing the other day, not yesterday, but the day before, after I got off work, so I brought food with me to work, ate it that morning. By the time I got off work, I was really hungry, so I ate again. And then my wife got home, it was dinner time, and I was still really hungry, so I ate again. That's the first time I've had 3 meals in a day in months. And, you know, I eat when I'm hungry. So for whatever reason, my body was like, just give me nutrients, give me fat, give me protein. So I did. So whatever it's doing, it's working, it's doing its thing. I'm trusting it and I'm letting it do its thing. Maybe I go up a few pounds for a few days. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. But it's part of it. So I'm just putting this out there to let you guys know, like, weight fluctuation is part of this journey. I'm not worried about it. I'm not panicked about it. Now, 2-3 weeks from now, if I've gone up another 10 or 15 pounds, okay, then I'm going to start looking at what's going on. But weight fluctuations and everything, it's fine. You know, I've been under 300 for like 2 weeks solid. And even the weight fluctuation hasn't taken me back up over that, because I went under 300 and then dropped down to like 294, 295 relatively quickly. So my body is doing what it needs to do. It's losing weight. It's settling out. It, you know, it does its thing. It fluctuates a bit, and it will burn when it's ready to burn. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. You know, I'm not forcing myself to fast, but as a general rule, you know, I eat usually 1 meal a day, sometimes twice a day. Kind of already have natural fasting put in there. And all is well. It's fine. I'm doing my thing. All is good. Just continue doing it. It's no problem. And everything will be good. So that's kind of what I'm doing. You know, the other thing is too, like I said, allergies are real bad in Nashville right now. Every time I have allergy problems, my body just seems to hold on to fluid. Like, that's probably one of the reasons that I was so thirsty, is because, you know, my nose gets stopped up, and then I'm sneezing, and then my nose runs, and it's a reaction. It's an inflammation because of the environmental things that are happening. So it's, you know, it's normal. This is something I'm used to this time of year. I know it's going to happen. And if I'm a little bloated because my body is just having a, you know, immune system response to the pollen in the air that is just so bad right now, you know, itchy, watery eyes, and just the nose issues and the throat issues and all that kind of stuff, it's just something that I have to expect. So I'm not worried about it. I'm just sharing it with you guys and telling you, like, hey, this is where I'm at this week, but I'm not panicked about it. And so if you're fluctuating in weight and you're going up a pound or 2 or 4 or 5 or something like that, don't obsess over it. Seriously, like, do not obsess over it. And if you find you're a person who does obsess over things like that, and I understand it's easy to do, I believe me, I have my things I obsess about, not necessarily with the weight and the carnivore thing, but other areas of my life, I can become quite obsessive. You can ask my wife or my parents or anyone else who's ever had to live with me. They know I can become obsessive about things. So if you find that you're one of those people that obsesses about this, you know, with the weight and the carnivore fluctuation diet stuff, you know, and everything that's going on, and that gets up in your head and it messes with you and makes you question what you're doing, be disciplined enough to not weigh yourself more than like once a month, right? Do a monthly weigh-in, and that way, if it's like, okay, if your weight goes up, you know, from 1 month to the next couple of pounds, great, it's weight fluctuation. You still haven't really gained anything, because over a month you would gain a lot more than that if you were metabolically unhealthy. But you know, you're doing good. But at the end of the month, if you're the same and maybe even, you know, a little bit lower, whatever, you're maintaining and or losing your weight, you're metabolically healthy, just keep doing your thing and it's all good. If you get on the scale at the end of the month and you've put on 20 pounds, okay, by that point, you're going to be feeling your clothes and other things not fitting the way that you expect them to anymore. So, at that point, you'll realize something is wrong. And if you look really closely, you'll probably figure out exactly what that is. There's a number of people out there that have good ones, but I know Dr. Barry has a couple of really good videos where he's talking about weight loss stalls and, all these different kinds of things. So, he sort of goes into like what may be causing that. And if you use that and you look really critically at what you're doing, you'll probably find the answer. But don't over exaggerate the importance of all of this. I know over exaggerate's kind of a dumb thing, but don't overemphasize the importance of that number on the scale. It's just a number. And as long as you're metabolically healthy and you're doing the things you need to do and you're eating the right stuff and you just, generally speaking, are maybe slowly, but consistently working on burning the excess fat off of your body and letting your body do its recomposition thing, whatever, you're going to be just fine. That's the other thing. My body may be building some muscles. I've been a little bit more active over the last couple of weeks. Maybe it's building some muscle tissue. I don't know. I don't know why the number would do that exactly. I have my theories, but I can't prove that. I'm not inside my body figuring out what each of the cells is doing. So I'm just not obsessed about it. I'm not worried about it. I'm just letting it be what it is. I'm just going to continue taking care of myself and showing you guys the journey. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. I'm sorry there hasn't been a recipe video, but I promise you I've got a really cool one coming next. And last night I made dinner. I finally nailed down the technique for doing this thing that I'm going to show you, and it's really, really cool. So the next recipe video will be coming soon. I'm sorry for the delay in that. I like to be able to try to do one every week for you guys if I can, but cooking it and filming it and editing it and posting it and knowing that the recipe has been tested enough times that it's going to be consistent for you guys so that you can actually replicate it, that sometimes that just takes time. And lately I've been testing, 3 or 4 different ideas for things that I'm close to making work the right way. And it's just, it's getting ratios and techniques just right so that I can tell you exactly how to do it to make it work every time, the same way I did with my spreadable butter mayo. It's like you can throw all those same ingredients in and just whip it all up, but if you don't do it the right way and you don't know all the details, it's not consistent and it doesn't always work. So I'm just trying to iron out those last details so that when I send the recipe video out, when you guys watch it, you'll be able to do it at home and replicate it and feel like it's actually beneficial to your carnivore journey instead of just another way to frustrate you and maybe waste ingredients on something that either doesn't taste that good or just doesn't work. So anyway, I'm going to get working on that, and I appreciate you guys so much for being here. If you're struggling with any kind of fluctuation in your weight, or that you're getting up in your own head about, questioning this stuff or whatever, I promise, take a deep breath, and it's all going to be okay, because your body will do what it needs to do as long as you're eating the right things, the proper human diet, and you're just being strong and consistent. There's a whole community here to help you. Talk to me in the comments, talk to the other people in the comments, lean on each other and ask questions, and just be open when you're struggling with it. That's how we do this. So I love you guys. You're all fantastic. Thank you for watching. Eat your meat, love your life. This is Chris Cook in Nashville, and I'm going to see you guys real soon.